Hey, good evening. It is June 18th, 2024 at 6 o'clock, and I'd like to open the Board of Selectmen meeting. Roll call, please.
Joe Shane present.
Chad Sexton Duranian present. And Teresa has submitted an email saying she would not attend tonight. Let's all stand for a Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank all those that served our country, both past and present. We appreciate your service, all the first responders. Tonight's meeting is being recorded and it will be uploaded at YouTube. We're also live on Channel 9. Chairman's additions and deletions. I do have several additions. I'm adding 3 minutes to the minutes. That's 423, 5-6, and 5-7. You have those?
No, because I only printed all these out that we had here.
Okay, we just got those.
So I do not have those, and I have not reviewed those.
We have not?
No, and I'll be happy to review them if you have a copy.
I do.
I'd be more than happy to do that while we start, if you don't mind.
Sabrina, do you have copies of 423, 5-6, and 5-7 minutes?
23, 5 what? 5-6 and what?
Here it is, April. April 23rd,
And
that's all of them.
5-6, and what's the last one?
Really, that's what you said.
April, May 6th.
So on 5.1, we should have 319, 4.2, 4.16, 4.23, 5.6, and 5.7.
Okay. I have reviewed the 3.9, 3.19, the 4.2, and the 4.16. You give me 1 minute here. I'll review these last 3.
Okay. Just so you're aware, Mr. Schenk, I did have a couple corrections that I've already talked with Sabrina about, so that's already been changed.
These?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which were not content, it was formatting issues.
Okay.
I'll continue with the additions if that's okay with you.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
I'd also like to add to 3.1. We did receive another appointment for Michael Brown. I'd like to add to 3.3. We received today another reappointment for Susan DeKirkin. We'll add that to 3.3, the existing reappointments. And I'd also like to add 4.8. That was a municipal funds transfer from the clerk's office that we received this afternoon.
4.8?
Yeah.
What is it?
Municipal funds transfer. Because the finance committee is meeting next week, I wanted to make sure we passed it on the board so that they could have all of the transfers and do them all at the same time.
I am good, Mr. Chair, with 4.23. 5-6, and 5-7. Want these back?
So, I will make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for 3/9/24, 3/19/24, 4/2/24, 4/16/24, 4/23/24, and 5/6/24, and 5/7/24.
So moved.
I'll second that. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian.
People Sabrina for getting all those done.
Yes, I agree.
And if you don't mind, can I just get a copy of those last three later? Just for my record? Thank you.
All right. 2.1, 605, the joint meeting with the Audit Committee, Finance Committee, and Auditor to discuss and review the fiscal year 23 financial audit. At this time, I'd like to invite you both up at the table.
Make sure there.
Okay, so we have you have the Finance Committee, you don't have a quorum.
If I list them.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Andrea, are you on the line? Sam?
Hey, Don, Josh on its own.
Oh, Josh too, thank you.
Okay. Why don't we put it so we can see who's on there? I think he has to go up to the board. Sure. Show non-video participants. All right.
Are we going to display anything or? This point. I guess 3 would be a quorum because we've only got 6 members of this.
It's 7-member board, right?
It's normally a 7-member board, but with the ending of the term at the end of town meeting, there's only 6. So 3 of us would be a quorum. I was been told it was not the total number of the board, but the active members at the time.
I believe you're correct. It's the number that are currently appointed.
Right.
So if somebody is just absent tonight.
Yeah, so Andrea and Sam are absent. Mark Hussey is no longer on the board. His term ended at the end of town meeting.
Okay.
And he was not seeking reappointment, so that means we only have 6.
So
I don't know whether it's 3 or whether it's still 4.
That's what
It's intended to be.
We still need the 4 to get a quorum over 50%.
I think so.
Yeah.
But if you're not voting on something tonight, then it's.
We're not really voting on it, so we'll make it do it as a session. Somebody, one of them is 2.
We'd like some people to join us, huh?
yes, that's going to be a big play during announcements.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we have 1.
So I just wanted to have everybody here, if you could just state your name, A, for the record, and B, we have, I believe we have our accountant and, is it Tony? I can't see.
And Tony from Rosella.
Tony is our auditor, correct?
Yeah.
So Jerry, you want to start?
Gerald Mazekas, FinCom.
Don Hayes, Chair of FinCom.
Melissa Dunnett, Treasurer Collector.
Katie Kazanjian, Assistant Town Accountant.
Joe Shank, Selectman.
Chad Sexton Duranian, Selectman.
Ross Perry, interim TA.
Josh Levitt, FinCom.
Josh.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I don't have Josh sign it in yet.
Okay, Josh, thank you. Tony, go ahead.
I'm Tony Roselli. I am a partner with the town's auditing firm.
And Elizabeth Bratcher, Town Accountant.
Alrighty, so how do we want to do this? Whoever wants to start is.
Do you have any other agenda items, or are we jumping right into the audit?
We're jumping right into the audit on this, yeah.
Okay.
You're up, Tony.
All right, I guess I'm up. I guess the easiest way to do this is there is a report that I sent out. It was labeled a governance report. It's about a 3-page letter. And on the last 2 pages, there's about 9 or 10, actually 11 observations. So I could quickly go through those observations. Real quick, just on the financial end, the town has approximately 2.1 million in unassigned fund balance, which is made up of your stabilization fund and your undesignated fund balance. So 2.1 million. Included within that subset is about $1.4 million of various stabilization funds. So about 1.4 million of various stabilization funds. Your overall fund balance dropped about $400,000 during the current year because you used some free cash, about 1.2 million of free cash, and you had a positive budget and forecast, revenue forecast of about 700,000, which netted about a 400,000 reduction. So that's basically the highlights on the financial end. Pretty much in line with what you expected. A little bit better on the forecast on revenues, which recaptured some of that free cash that you used during the year. So from my perspective, you're right where I thought you would be, and the unassigned fund balance represents about 10% of your 2023 expenses, about 10%. So from a credit worthy standpoint, 15% or above is a tier 1, 8 to 12% is a tier 2. So you're like in the tier 2 range in terms of where your credit worthiness is on a financial reserve standpoint. So any questions on just some of those financial highlights before I jump into the observations? Okay.
Yeah.
So the letter that we're required to write it's basically addressed to the Board of Selectmen, and in that we're required to let you know if we had any scope limitations, which we didn't. If there were any gap departures, generally accepted accounting principle departures, there were none. Were there any material weaknesses or significant deficiencies? No. Were there any disagreements with management? No. So all the standard items that we need to check off were part. So at the end of the letter, we're required to highlight those items that we think we should be communicating to you. So I've got 11 items that are made up of some informational items and some that are actually like findings that should be corrected. I did notice a large improvement over the prior year in terms of votes being recorded, in terms of transfers being made properly, in terms of just the overall record keeping. And I think that was a function of having one set of eyes really on the GL this year, as opposed to a few different accountants moving in and out in the prior year. I think, Elizabeth, you did like half of the prior year, and I think Laurie might have done the first half. So I think the GL aspects of the ledger were much better this year. So that's good news. So let's go right through these comments. First one's an informational comment. Treasurer did a really nice job on investments. As you're probably all aware, interest rates have really gone up nicely. Negative if you're borrowing, but positive if you have some excess money and you can invest it. You can get probably 4 to 5%. And we had pointed this out last year, and it looks like the treasurer moved some money into better yielding bank accounts. And we're just making a recommendation to keep on looking at that and keep on challenging your banks to give you a good interest rate, which it looks like was happening during the year. So that's good news. Secondly, and this is just a reminder that I put in here for all my communities, just continue to challenge your controls over cybersecurity. Train your employees. What are your controls? The cyber hacks try to be one step ahead of everyone, and they're in there doing crazy things. And sometimes these employees it's an employee error that's causing a lot of the problems. Like that Amazon gift card is not really free money, so don't click on it. Those are the types of things that they try to fish you into. Or in the treasurer's office, we need to make this transfer. The town accountant has said we need to make this transfer to pay off this construction company. And those are the types of things that you should be aware of ahead of time, of transactions that you basically should forbid. I would never pay a construction company with a wire transfer. Believe it or not, it has happened where your cyber criminals come in and say, hey, we want payment for our construction of services, and they'll do a nice mimic of a invoice of some project you have going on, and lo and behold, $100,000 is gone. Also, they'll come in and freeze your system, and then they'll expect some ransom to let your system go back to normal. So these are the things that you should be aware of. And I've had some of my clients have gone through what's called a cyber audit. So they'll actually come in, audit firm, not my audit firm, but audit firms that are out there independently looking at your cyber networks, that will come in and do an independent check of your IT. Are all your firewalls in place? Do you have any vulnerabilities? Are there areas where there's some holes in your system? So if you have some funds and that's something you want to investigate, I highly recommend it in this day and age. Next question, if nobody has any questions so far, is on just some fraud prevention controls. What I like to see is the financial team, which would be your town accountant, your treasurer, out there actually challenging the departments that handle cash. What do you have for a reconciliation process within the department? What do you have for a receipt process within the department? How often do you turn over cash? Where do you hold the cash before you turn it over? Those sorts of things, those sorts of controls are important to know about. We don't dig to that level in our audit because we're doing a financial-based audit of the general ledger, so we don't go that deep. But we do ask these questions. Do you folks do these little internal control reviews of these cash handling areas? And it's a good way to keep everyone honest, in terms of the town's vigilance in this area. Okay, next item is ARPA. So this is just a reminder that by the end of this calendar year, December 31st of 24, make sure you have everything obligated. And by obligated, a purchase order, commitment, contract, it's got to be very firm, not just some plan. Hey, we're going to spend it this way. I don't want any of my towns getting clawed back from the government that they haven't done this properly. So I'm putting this out there that just make sure that on December 31st at midnight, everything's obligated. You get another 2 years to spend it, but just make sure it's obligated.
Yeah, Tony, we're working with a consultant for our ARPA funds, so that'll definitely be happening before the 31st. Excellent.
Because I know we haven't come in to do this audit like till after December, so I just want to make sure that we're putting out these reminders to you folks. Okay, the next few items dig into the first few are informational, observational type items. These are the findings. So beginning with item 5, we saw that so you use a third party for ambulance. They bill the patient and they collect money from the patient, and then they basically wire that. Actually, it comes in directly to the town, but the third party does a report on what they billed and collected. So what I like to do or like to see is that the town's done a reconciliation from what the third party, and I think it's Coastal that does you folks, what Coastal reports versus what's in the GL and what's collected in the GL. I want to make sure that those are in sync. That was off about $80,000 for this fiscal year. So I just wanted to make sure that I think it was timing is what happened at the end of the year. Something that got caught that didn't go in till July or vice versa. But there should be a reconciliation of that process and an adjustment made to the correct number. And secondly, on ambulance is we're still seeing that balance increase up to $630,000, which is another 15% higher than the prior year. So, so we're making a suggestion that the fire chief take a look at, what might be old there. Have some people who use the ambulance passed away, moved away. What are the chances of collecting some of this? The medical receivables are late usually anyway, just because of the very nature of collecting a medical. Does it get denied by insurance? Do you try to collect it from the patient? So there's a process there that sometimes delays it. But this has gotten it's over 75% now that your total balance is in the greater than 6 month category. So again, just something for the fire chief to look at and see if, some of these are just not collectible. It makes it easier to manage. Next is just a question.
I just want to say real quick that this is for fiscal year 23, correct? So
yes,
and that's for the people who are listening at home because we are being televised. I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood that because I know that that's been a focus of the fire department throughout fiscal year 24, and I know that he has been right on top of that.
Oh, that's great. That's great news. Thanks for that update. So we'll expect to see some improvements in that area when we come out to do the 24 audit. Good news. Oh, I see a hand there.
I'd like to piggyback on that as well. Katie and I work together. There's reconciliation in place. It is balanced now, and we're reconciling monthly to the coastal reports for ambulance. So for 24, it is in place. Thank you.
Super. Yep. So hopefully we can take out a big eraser and eliminate that comment from next year's report. And we CPAs don't like to use erasers too much. Okay. Next comment, and these are basically some good practices in the treasurer collector's office. Just to basically do a spreadsheet with your cash forecast. What's your beginning cash? What's coming in for the month? What's going out for the month? What's the ending cash? And do like a 12-month projection. What that helps you do is see what cash is available at the end of each month. And if it's consistent, if it's a consistent amount, it would appear that it's excess cash that represents reserves that can be invested because you don't want to really invest your operating cash and tie it up in case you need it. So knowing how much you have at the end of each month, and if it's a consistent amount, it helps you invest better. So that was just like I said, a best practice type of comment. Also notice that there's a lot of bank accounts that are that the office administers, and a lot of those could be consolidated just to make the process a little easier at the end of the year, a little less management.
Comment on that?
And lastly, just a number of minor variances.
Tony, excuse me.
Yes.
Can we just make a comment on the number of bank accounts?
Yeah. Hi, Tony. So, well, the statement is true that we have a lot of bank accounts. My comment here is perhaps it could be expanded on this particular comment that the Treasurer Collector's Office has already taken actions to rectify this situation. I inherited in 23, say we had 30 bank accounts. In 23, I closed 10 accounts. And I think I'm in the process of closing 3 or 4 more. And I've evaluated each of the accounts for the reason that they exist. There's a couple I'm still researching, like a CD or something, but the rest are all have a specific purpose and a reason and a good function. So I wanted to comment on that I think that we could expand and say that we've already been doing work on this issue.
So it's a work in progress. Okay, no, that's excellent news. So, we'll obviously we'll take a look at that, and if we agree with that, which it sounds like we will, we can note that in the next report.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Tony. I did do a list of all the accounts and an explanation of what the accounts are being used for or were being used for and whether they're closed or to be closed. So I can send that to you.
Okay, super. Yeah,
Or we can review it next year.
I'd love to see that. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item, capital assets. So back in 2021, when we were all young kids in grade school, the GASB came out and said, you must inventory your fixed assets. So everyone went out and got a consultant and did an inventory of fixed assets in towns. They put, a list of all your vehicles, all your roads, all your land that you own, your buildings that you owned, and they put it into Excel, and then they valued it. So what we've noticed is if there was a Hewlett Packard that was inventoried in 2021, I would guess that no longer exists. If it would be an educated guess of mine. So when I look at your fixed asset list right now, it does have a lot of those old items. So I'd love to get a list out to somebody. I don't know who would manage that process. Send it to the departments and have them cross out the items. Like a 2001 police cruiser, I'm sure got traded in somewhere along the ways. But it's still being carried in the inventory roll. So I'd love to have someone take charge of that. We actually record the capital assets in our software. So Elizabeth or someone from the accountant's office provides the additions, the new stuff for the year, and we add it on. But we also would need what's no longer around, what's gone. So I'd love to get a more accurate fixed asset, inventory list. So just let me know who's in charge, who you can place in charge of doing that, and we can get the lists out that we have out to that person. Who we pointing at?
We both look at each other.
Somebody.
Ross and I will play.
Well, we are doing that for rolling stock right now because we're signing up our insurance contract. So we will be reviewing all rolling stock to be sure it's on or off the insured list, and that would probably transfer to the asset list.
Yeah, I was going to say the easiest way to do it is look at what you've got on your insurance list and do a cross-reference. Because your land is, unless you sold some land, that's going nowhere. Your buildings are going nowhere. Your roads, unless you've improved them, but those don't disappear. It's mostly the equipment, the vehicles. So if you do a cross-reference, I think that's where you'll see. And those computers, those old ones, I doubt they exist. So, but you can look at what's there that's old and whatnot. So that is the capital asset comment. The next comment is just good practice. I'm not sure if you've started this process. We did have it as a finding last year. Basically, to create a comprehensive internal control policy and procedure manual, also with financial policy. So something, I'm sure you guys follow policies, but something that's codified into one document so that when you have turnover, someone can say, hey, how do I do a warrant? Well, let me go look at how it's done in this town. Let me go look at how we process payroll. Let me go look at what controls are in place. And I know that's going to take a while to put together. But there are great examples out there. Towns do have these working. So the first thing I do is usually take a good one, cut and paste Townsend into, say, Winchester, and then go in and start reading it and say which one does not apply to Townsend and which one does. So you can kind of cut and paste it that way. And then at the end of the process, you have a nice manual. So hopefully somebody can put that on their to-do list, and we can see some improvements in that area.
So Katie has a couple of drafts already started, so she's
Excellent.
working.
Yeah.
Excellent. I knew I could count on you, Katie. Good job.
That was one of mine. Like, can we have? Yeah.
Yeah.
We do too. Thanks. That was great.
So the next one, and I think you probably have been doing some progress on this, and this is one, again, that's going to require some time, but there was a lot of stagnant special revenue balances. So you establish a special revenue for a purpose. You either get a grant, a gift, a revolving fund, and then you spend it, and then there's always a little bit left over. And it's either due to a coding error, you coded an expense to the general fund instead of to the project, or it's just forgotten about, and then you have some turnover. Say there's some gifts in the police department, and you get a new police chief, and the old police chief doesn't say, by the way, we've got 10 gifts you should keep an eye on, we can spend out of there. So these things get forgotten. There's about $300,000 worth of old items. One of them is a debt premium account for $150,000. And really need to do some research on that, because you may be able to use that to pay down debt or use it towards the project that it was intended. I don't know when that even came into play. If it was before 2016, you may be able to bring it in as revenue. If it was before 2016, that was when the Municipal Modernization Act went into play, which changed all the rules. So it would be good to research exactly when that premium happened. It's $150,000. That's a big one. The rest of them, like I said, $150,000 of multiple small items, maybe 4,000 or 5,000 here or there. There's also 3 minor capital project funds that have not had any activity in at least 2 years that total about $23,000. So you can repurpose those at a town meeting if you've got some little small projects you might want to do, or at the authorization of the town chief executive officer, which is typically the town administrator, or select board, if you choose. You can use that to pay down debt. So there's $23,000. You can use up to $50,000 a year to pay down debt. So there's $23,000 sitting there right now. Okay, next. Next item is police details. I know that the police chief had started to look at some of these older balances that they really don't know much about. So I said, hey, take a look at it, research it, probably need to write them off. So I think that's an ongoing type of thing. The department is all over what the new stuff is that they build out, but under the old administration, there's a bunch of receivables. And sometimes these things just lay there for years and years and years. So so I would recommend the police chief take a look at those if they haven't already, and just debate them at this point if you can't find what it is or who it belongs to or who owes it. And lastly, the special revenue chart of accounts. Love to see that configured to more appropriate UNIS reporting. Katie has got a big smile there.
Sorry, I just have to giggle at that. Yes, so we're working on it. We have made progress, and you'll see some of that. Good.
So with that comment, that concludes my comments for the evening, unless there's any further questions from anyone.
Any other board? No, we're all good here, Tony.
Awesome. You've been great. Thank you. Have a great rest of the night.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next year. Bye-bye.
We'll see you next year, right?
Yep. Bye-bye, everyone.
I just want to thank everybody for addressing some of them concerns, and we're moving forward, and you're all doing a great job. And every little bit that we can find and use will be very helpful.
Yeah.
Finance committee will love to get that money.
As well with TA.
Yes.
Well,
Everybody wants a piece.
everyone wants a piece of that.
We're working on
Well,
it.
I'm talking about for the town budget.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the budget. I need it for a budget. We'll
That's
get
further on in the agenda.
Yeah.
But thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody.
You're welcome.
Really
Thank you,
appreciate that.
Nice work, Katie. Melissa.
Melissa,
Thank
good
you.
job.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye, guys. All right, see you later.
Thanks for the chair.
No problem.
I think we've got a really good team here.
They're working, yeah, they've tightened a lot of things up. Katie,
in talking about that's 23. And in 23, we knew a lot of these issues and we tightened them up in 24. I'm looking forward to the audit for next year because that's
great shape.
Yeah, we're in really good shape.
Keep doing a good job.
It was nice to have a good report at this time of year.
Good review, yes, it was. All right.
All right, so I'm going to start with we're going to go right on to appointments unless you guys need to.
Okay.
Anything,
No, I think we're all set. I don't know. Yeah, that was the main focus today was the audit report. So
And I just want to talk to the finance committee, if I may, for a second.
Sure.
Just that
Yep.
Pending where all the election results
Right.
roll out to,
Yeah.
I'm anticipating working with you during July to come up with solutions to the budget problem.
Yeah.
I would plan to be, well, you're meeting on the 24th.
We're meeting next week. If you want, I haven't posted the agenda.
Well, if that's
I can
going
put
to
an
be,
item that we.
that's going to be mostly just doing internal transfers.
And that's correct. So we can go through that.
Yeah.
We have an item with you following, and we can have at least a start.
I
of the
won't have any
discussion.
solutions by that.
We won't have any solutions, but we can talk about a schedule and plan at that point.
Yeah, we'll know more about what's going on after Friday of this week.
Right.
Basic timing on it. Ross and I have been meeting. I would just like to have a strategic plan with all of us so that we're attacking this with all brains.
Yeah, and I think from finance committee side, would like to see more than just a 1-year shot. Is what's the one when we look at the budget policy, it says we should be presenting a 5-year plan and what it looks like on the 5-year plan. It's somewhat easy to do with Excel and formulas to extrapolate some things out. But we need to see that would be the piece that's important as we build the FY25. What are we going to do with 26 and 27 when ARPA is gone? Those numbers that we have in the budget for FY25 today aren't real because they're being subsidized. It's kind of like, so as we prepare things and look at it, we have to see it's got to be visible to the entire budget.
And that's what we definitely want to be able to do. It's
right.
not. I don't want to kick the can down the road, to use the term, which I hate.
Right.
I want to be able to make sure that we have a strategic plan to be able to deal with what we need to for 26 at least, and then 3 years, 4 years down the road from there.
Yeah, because with everything we tried to do with 25, which was 0% increase on expense lines and just the 4% salary increases, is kind of I don't know that we can hold the line. I don't know that the budgets will be able to withstand that. But again, that's looking at and getting a final variance report from Katie to see what the total uses are and go in and see if there's anything we can do. And maybe going back when people are looking for new things and ads, that we get a list of what the ad items are and what the estimated costs are. So we can look at reality of what the request is actually, not just putting a line and say increasing over what it was last year because we did an increase. Right. Actually see that
we have several different programs or projects, I guess is a better term for us to be able to do that. One is our building assessments. That'll give us an idea of what we're looking at with maintenance that we've always had a problem with. We can't really get in on that.
Yeah.
That'll give us a better idea of what we're looking at there. And we're asking for more input from the departments too. That's going to put us in a better shape to be able to start planning. We also have, there's implementation of certain projects that are going to change the landscape of certain recurring monthly charges that we're not going to be paying out. One of them would be the WAN that we're putting in is going to eliminate several of the monthly charges. So there's a lot that I think that we need to discuss so that we can plan it out accordingly.
Yeah, and again, with the capital planning this year of updating all the lights to the LEDs, see the appropriate energy decreases in future years.
And we have the aggregation program as well. That's another thing that I'm assuming that we're probably going to be jumping on. I would assume by the end of the year, wouldn't we? Yeah, so that there's a lot of changes,
Right.
A lot of positive changes that I think are really going to affect our bottom line.
I just want to thank Finance Committee, everybody on it for doing such a great job. It's a very hard job, but we depend on you guys to help us, and thank you for that.
And Andrew's on the line. Thank you, Andrew. And Josh, thank you for your time. And
That's for everybody.
We're unfortunately losing Josh. He's moving out of town, so
We'll keep looking.
We need to get more people on here.
That's
I
right.
think so. Jerry, you and I are going to start knocking on doors soon. But I appreciate it. All right.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. Thanks.
Okay, so
And appointments,
we've got
15 minutes.
15 minutes. I think we can get through.
Appointments.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
3.1, I'm looking for a motion to reappoint Natalie Paul, Gregory Smith, Veronica Kell, William Cadigan, Michael Brown to the Bylaw Review Committee with a term effective 7/1/24 to 6/30/26.
So moved.
And I'll second that.
Mike Brown, I'm adding, right?
What's that?
Mike Brown's not on here, you're adding that?
Correct. I did that.
At the beginning, yeah, I missed it there.
Okay. All those in favor?
Joe Shank, yes.
Sexton Duranian, yes. 3.2, reappoint Laura Dole to the Cultural Council with a term effective 7/1/24 to 6/30/2027.
So moved.
I'll second that. Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. 3.3, I'm going to go over afterwards, so we'll come back to that one. 3.4, reappoint James Gates to the Conservation Commission with a term effective 7/1/24 to 6/30/27.
So moved.
And second, any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. 3.5, a motion to reappoint Veronica Kell, George W. Sullivan, Mary Jane Churchville, Carol Hofstas, Emmeline Hoff, James Gates to the Open Space and Recreation Committee with a term effective 7/1/24 to 6/30/2027.
So moved.
Second, any discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. 3.6, appoint Charles Rossback to the Agricultural Commission with a term effective 6/18/24 to 6/30/27.
So moved.
Second, all those in favor?
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. 3.7, reappoint Mary Letourneau as Animal Control Officer with a term effective 7/1/24 to 6/30/2025.
So moved.
Second, any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. 3.8, reappoint Kathleen Spofford as the parking clerk with a term effective 7/1/24 to 6/30/2025.
So moved.
Second, any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. 3.9, reappoint Lieutenant Christopher Peach, Sergeant George Reedy, Sergeant David Phillips, Sergeant Jeffrey Giles as the agents for the licensing authority with a term effective 7/1/24 to 6/30/25.
So moved.
Second, any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. 3.10, reappoint James P. Sartell as Chief of Police, Keeper of the Lockup, Agent for the Licensing Authority with a term effective 7/1/24 to 6/30/2025.
So moved.
Second, any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. 3.11, reappoint full-time police department officers. And there is a list, so let's do it this way. I'll ask for a motion to reappoint full-time police department officers, as listed in the agenda.
So moved.
Second, any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. 3.12, ask for a motion to reappoint building department personnel as listed in, actually, I'm going to read these because they're separate.
Yeah.
So a motion to reappoint building department personnel as follows: gas inspector and plumbing inspector Richard Capinas, alternate gas inspector and alternate plumbing inspector Gary Williams, sealer of weights and measures Eric Altonen, wiring inspector Daniel Cushion, alternate wiring inspector Peter Martin, alternate building commissioner Dana Barnes, alternate building inspector Roland Bernier, and building commissioner Robert Garside for a 3-year term effective 7/1/24 to 6/30/2027.
So moved.
Second, any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. 3.13, reappoint fire department officers for a term effective 7/1/24 to 6/30/2025 as listed in the agenda.
So moved.
And second, any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. 3.14, I'll look for a motion to reappoint Ian Forsman and Judith Pottier to the Council on Aging for a term effective 6/30/2024 to 6/30/27.
So moved.
Second, any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. 3.15, look for a motion to reappoint Alice Struthers to the Cultural Council for a term effective 6/30/24 to 6/30/27.
So moved.
And second, any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian.
Back.
Okay, yes. Yeah, okay, we do have some time. All right, so we're going to go back to 3.3. Oops. Yes. Yes.
We did that, right? Ian Forsman?
Yep. 3.14, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Ian Forsman, yeah, we did.
Yeah. So I wanted to have a discussion in regards to an appointment for the Historic District Commission. It was brought to my attention, and I did get a phone call from the State Ethics Commission in regards to the makeup of that, and I did the research. I had sent in the information that the Ethics Commission had asked me to. I was asked to review the charter and take a closer look at what was going on. I haven't really had time to research it fully at this particular time, but according to our charter says that the makeup of the Historic District Commission should be 2 individuals that were nominated from the Historic Society. 1 member is an AIA, which is an architect. 1 member should be on the board of realtors, and 3 members not on the Historic Society. We also received this afternoon an additional reappointment, but that came in after we had already solidified the agenda. But what I wanted to do with the board is to talk about the way this is. I would feel more comfortable to be able to talk with town council. I've had conversations with the town administrator. the way it stands now is we could address the reappointment, or we could take this up at our next meeting after I've done the research on it, however you want.
Next meeting. Yeah, I think we should, especially where everything's up in the air, and we should maybe figure out how we have to abide by the charter. So whatever that makeup is of the charter, then that's what they should come forward with, and we should vote on that. So I make a motion, we table until the next meeting, and the district come forward per the charter with the personnel that are required on the charter.
So I have two individuals, I guess, that are up for reappointment. And there's two members that would still be current after the end of this month. Both of those individuals are currently Historic Society members and Historic District Commission members. So we need clarification on exactly what the charter says, because if one of the two that are up for reappointment get appointed, that means that there would be three members that are on both the Historic Society and on the District Commission. So I want to get clarification from Town Council in regards to that. But I just want to be sensitive only because the Ethics Commission told us to take a look at it. Jerry?
I'm one of those people, and I have done a disclosure. So I identify it here.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I understand that, but this is more for the charter. The charter is what we need to look at. I need to have Adam look at it as well.
There's the other people, the other person also did.
Yes, I understand that, and I don't think it has anything to do with the disclosure. It has to do with the charter. And the charter, the makeup of it.
Makeup of the charter.
Yeah, because the charter states that there's two members that are appointed or that are nominated from the Historic Society. One is an architect, the other is a realtor, and then three members not on the Historic Society. And one of those members of the three members should be actually living in the historic district. That's what the charter says that it's supposed to be. That's how the charter's made up. Okay. So I don't think we really need to vote. We can just move this to July 2nd.
Or whatever, you get the information.
We get the information. You're going to follow up on that for us, Ross? I go off.
Well, actually, I'm the one.
Your deal? Perfect. Okay.
I have a phone call with the state that I have to finish. So
we're clarified what we just said. You're gonna work with the state to clarify exactly what personnel should be on per our charter.
Correct.
And that's how we're gonna appoint.
Correct.
All right, I'm fine with that.
So Sabrina, if we can put that on July 2nd, please, and thank you.
All right. Still got time.
7 yet. So, I guess we can talk, this will dovetail into the next one anyway. 4.1 is a mandatory planning board referral for 108 Fitchburg Road. Did you have a chance, Joe, to take a look at that?
I did. A lot to it.
I put my planning board hat on for that one.
And planning board, but took a lot to review and figure out. Even actually try to figure out exactly what a piece of property was.
So the mandatory referral was sent to us by the planning board. They will be having a public hearing on Monday, July 8th, 2024 at 6:45 p.m. In the Selectmen's chambers and also on Zoom, it looks like. But this is for property on 108 Fitchburg Road. The proposed project involves the construction of 3 new 2-unit residential buildings and the conversion of a single-family home into a two-unit residential building. Additionally, the project includes associated utilities, stormwater management, infrastructure, driveways, and outdoor recreation areas. The property is located at 108 Fitchburg Road, identified on Assessor's Map 16, Block 42, Lot 0, and falls within both the RA and RB zoning districts. So I have looked at the project. My thought is to unless you had some things in there that stuck out to you, what I thought is using the same as we've done on other ones, that there are several components to this application, and the select board trusts the expertise of the planning board. The select board thanks the planning board for all of their efforts.
Yeah, because I couldn't answer some of the questions, and I think that's why we have the planning board and leave it up to them. And
yeah, well, I've also looked at some of the other comments from the other departments, and they're spot on with what I saw. And as a selectman, I'm like, let them do their thing.
Do we need a motion on that?
Well, if you're in agreement with what I just read, I can read it again. I can just sign it.
I'm in agreement. We're good.
Okay, so the comment that I'm putting is there are several components to this application, and the select board trusts the expertise of the planning board. The select board thanks the planning board for all of their efforts. We got 3 minutes. How about that? I guess we could do we could do
3 minutes, the amended minutes.
So 4.3, the review of the amended meeting dates. That's a redo. We just wanted to make sure that we had on the record the 3 dates that we had changed. So they're in red on that. So the meeting dates with the changes are 9/10/24 and 9/24/24 and 11/12/24. And those are taken into consideration other obligations or holidays or
okay. I'm good with that.
But if you're good with that,
I'm good with that.
You want to make a motion?
I make a motion to approve the updated meeting dates, and the 3 are 9/10/24, 9/24/24, 11/12/24.
And I'll second that. All those in favor?
Joe Shank, yes.
Paul Sexton-Rini.
That's on the contract.
Why don't we go ahead and jump to. We're going to go back. I see Lori. I see Carol. Anybody else on the planning board there?
We're waiting for Andrew Shepherd.
Okay.
I'm going to give him a call.
All right. I'll keep my eye out. When he comes in, we'll jump back over, okay?
Thank you.
Contract.
Well, we can go. We can do the insurance contract.
Yep, it's all
set.
I think we wanted to verify that all the things are included, and we've done that.
Yeah. And we've already signed it, so we're good to go, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So there's nothing to vote on because we approved it the last time. 4.4, review and amend Montechusett Pest Control contract. Ross, why don't you give us what you...
It's a couple meetings ago, the board voted to approve that contract pending verification that the contract was what we wanted. I've done some research, and the police department is not looking to cut their frequency of service, which is what we sort of held it up for, to see if that was the case. And it looks like they're using appropriate methods in rodent control. So I don't see any reason why it can't be approved and sent in. And I've talked to Kim from NPC and told her where we are now. It's back to the original quote and everything's moving forward.
And have we already signed and approved this, I believe?
I think the contract that was presented to us has been signed and I'm okay with
And
this.
that's the same one that we're going back to the original, correct?
Yep, no
I'm
changes.
good with that.
Yeah, so I'm good with that too.
Yeah.
Should we vote on it just to?
Yeah, just,
Vote to approve and send the contract back to NPC.
Okay.
As originally submitted.
so moved.
And second. Discussion,
Nope.
all those in favor?
Joe Shank, yes?
Scott Sexton Uranian, yes. Well, I see that Mr. Andrew is here. How are you, sir?
Oh, you're playing in the fire department tonight, aren't you?
Yes, he is.
Nice and cool?
Doing good.
Yeah, I'm good. You look good.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Carol, for making this happen.
Thank you, Lori, for showing up.
Well, it's difficult because we had somebody who unfortunately had a death in the family that couldn't make the meeting. So, and even our associate member is ill and couldn't make the meeting. So this is it. Thank you, guys. I'd like to call the joint meeting, or well, I'll call this portion. And then I'd like to discuss about how we do this. Maybe Ross can answer a question. I'd like to call the joint meeting of the select board, well, and the, excuse me, joint meeting with the select board of the planning, of the Townsend Planning Board at 7:02 p.m. your time. Could I have a roll call vote, please?
Carol Hoffs is present.
Andrew Shepherd present.
Laura Schifrin present. And Beth, our admin, who's our backbone here, right hand, is also with us. Thank you, Beth. You're already called to order, or do you call the joint again?
No, we're already
In session?
Yeah, we already are in session.
Okay. 1.1 on our agenda is basically deleted this evening because our applicant has withdrawn his application. And we also have another application that has come in. And true to the way Chaz has been, he wants to get more people involved so that a few are not doing everything, which would be really helpful. So that is not on the agenda, and I don't have to vote on that, right? We don't have to vote on that withdrawal. Right, Beth?
All the paperwork was submitted by the planning board, so the board was aware of all of it.
Okay. And then number 2, I'd like to entertain, well, I don't know why we have to motion again, but the planning board has approved Lance McNally to be appointed to fill the vacant seat, the full seat of the planning board member to expire next annual town meeting in April of 2025.
Mr. Chair, Lance actually called me today. He had to go into Worcester. He felt bad that he's not here tonight. He just wanted me to mention that he had a Coast Guard inspection that he could not get out of, but he really appreciates, the opportunity to come back on. He just wanted me to make that clear. Cool.
Okay, he also did call me and apologized and also told me that he called you. So that was good. So how do you want to do this? Do we motion again?
Yeah, so we make a motion and then we will all vote.
Okay. Both boards at the same time?
Correct.
Okay. Then I'll entertain a motion to appoint Lance McNally as a member of the planning board, term effective immediately to expire at the next annual town election, April 2025.
So moved.
And is there a second? Okay.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a roll call vote again from everyone.
Carol Hofstas, yes.
Andrew Shepherd, yes.
Laura Schifrin, yes?
Joe Shank, yes?
Chad Sexton-Duranian, yes.
Okay. We'll let Lance know to go get sworn in and come on board immediately.
Now he's got another uniform to get inspected.
Yes. Yes. So just a question, because sometimes it is like touch and go if we're going to have a joint meeting. And so the question's for Ross. If the planning board has already moved an appointment to the Board of Selectmen, why do we have to have a quorum to meet with you again to formally have him appointed by you? I mean, we've had other situations, and I've been in the seat where we have met, and I just brought forward the motion that came from my board.
It's a joint appointment, and each member of the individual boards has a vote. So if your committee had voted 2-1 for this name to come forward, and then the selectmen vote, it could be 3-2, I guess, against it, or not to appoint that person, or vice versa. So it's individual members that vote tonight.
Okay. I will just tell you that it was a unanimous appointment
Yes.
from our
Yes.
board.
And ours.
And ours.
That we're here.
Okay, so, okay, we'll truck on.
I just want to thank everybody on the board for all your work, hard work. It's a tough job, a thankless job, but thank you for it.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to adjourn the joint meeting of the planning board and the Board of Selectmen at 4:07 your time.
7:07.
Oh, 7. Oh, it's 4:07 here. Sorry, 7:07 your time. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Okay, and I heard a second as well.
Yeah.
Roll call vote.
Carol Hofstas, yes.
Andrew?
Andrew?
Shepherd, yes.
Laura Schifrin, yes.
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton-Duranian, yes. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you very much.
All right.
I may hang on. You're just not going to see me.
That's all right. Thank you.
All right. 4.5, vote on fiscal year 25 bid recommendations and notice of bid awards for the highway department. So, this was an interesting one because I had absolutely no idea what they were talking about. Reclaiming and crack sealing and all of this kind of stuff.
A lot of work that we got to pay for.
Yes.
We'll pay for it.
We'll pay for.
So this was a duly posted, advertised bid that actually Eric and Jimmy had worked on.
Yeah.
And we had bid opening on the 10th, and we had a good response from, multiple vendors, which is always encouraging because I think you end up with better pricing that way. So Jimmy has tallied them up and made his recommendations. You want me to read through those for you, or you want to take a motion to approve?
I don't. I was sitting here while they did the bid, and I actually understood it more than I did before before I ever saw it through the bid. I will say that it was an interesting process, and several people actually came for the bid, so it was really.
I'll just make a motion that we accept Jim Smith's proposals for the bid for milling of the existing road surface, reclamation, bituminous asphalt.
Oh, wait a minute, sorry. It's milling of existing road surfaces. PJ Albert won that one.
Okay, oh, all right.
for $1.91 that's in place.
Yeah.
Reclamation was won by Murray Paving
Pavement.
for $3.29 in place.
Okay,
Bituminous asphalt was won by PJ Keating for $89.89 a ton in place and $80 a ton for FOB. So it's a case of whether we haven't put it down or whether we go and get it ourselves.
okay.
Crack sealing was won by Superior Coating at $33.
33 cents.
33, yes,
33 cents.
33 cents in place.
So moved.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton, yes. Good job from the highway department as usual.
Yep.
All right. 4.6, starting date for a special town meeting. Here we go.
Here we go. Now we're in.
Well, when we talked last, we moved from July to potential August 19th and 20th, because that seemed to actually fit town council moderator and town clerk's availability. It suggested that we might have a better chance getting a quorum if we say September date.
I would think so. Kids are back in school, people are around. That was one of my concerns with those dates, that we're not gonna have a quorum, we're gonna waste a lot of people's time. So I think that's a smart thing to do it in September.
So the question is, we want to do it on a Monday like we normally do.
Monday night.
So does anybody know, Sabrina, when does school start in September? Do you know off the top of your head? Yeah. When the kids aren't there, that's when it starts.
Yeah.
Well, we go the second week, which is the week starting Monday the 9th.
Usually go back right before Labor Day.
Or Labor Day would be in Labor Day.
Labor Day is the second.
The second.
But they go right back before that, so. Yeah, the
That'll
week
be
after.
school.
Yeah, so let's do it the week after,
So why don't we do the 9th?
because people are away on the Labor Day, yeah.
So we can tentatively set the 9th and the 10th, and we need to check with the town clerk and the town moderator and the assistant town moderator.
9, 10,
And
right?
more importantly, Mr. Adam.
Just tentatively doing September 10th. What you said?
9th, and then if we need to go over the 10th first, take it.
9th, 9.
And maybe I won't be here.
You'll be
If
here.
we push it out far enough.
You'll be here.
No, we will definitely have a by September.
I would hope so.
I'll save a seat for you if you want to get back. Because you're always welcome.
So I will check with moderator, town council, and town clerk.
Yep.
For September 9th or the 10th.
Well, September 9th, and if it runs over.
I hope.
So just gotta be aware.
I think that'll also give us some time to be able to put together some of the other articles that are being proposed. I do know that a couple of the committees may have something put on this as well, so that'll give them some time to work.
I'm collecting a short list.
Yeah, I bet you are. All right. 4.7, discuss vote on warrant dates. So how do you figure out those dates now, right?
So we should post probably plan to post on by August 23rd. That's more than 14 days.
23rd?
Check that I'm right on that, but I think that's. Open the warrant Monday, July 29th. Close it on Friday, August 9th. 2 weeks.
Open at 7:29, open.
Yep.
And then what was it? August what?
August 9th. And that gives us perfect 2 weeks before we'd have to post it. So I think that would work. That should be plenty of time to get it ironed out.
And we can confirm the dates at our next meeting, just that you found everybody, right? They're all on page with it? Yep, I'm good with that.
We'll just be happy to put this one to bed.
Yeah, well, we'll get it done sooner or later. We'll get it there. All right. We need a motion on that?
Sure. Well, we're not gonna, we haven't voted it yet. We've targeted
Look at the
pending
dates.
clarification. So we'll
Yeah.
vote it next week.
All right.
Our next meeting.
Next meeting. All right.
When we know that everybody can make it, if we vote it now, then we've just committed them without checking.
All right.
Uh, 4.8, this was the addition to, this was a request to transfer. This is a request for transfer for appropriations. This is to be transferred. I just have numbers here. I don't have the account name, but I have the numbers.
Those are town clerk accounts, right?
Yes. So I'll entertain a motion to approve a municipal fund transfer from account 00-01-160-5300-0000-000 to be transferred from 001-162-5340-0000-000.
As
The
printed,
amount.
as printed in the agenda.
Is it printed in the agenda?
No, it's not
This
on
came
the
in.
agenda.
Oh, sorry. Came in.
I tried.
The transfer amount is $1,562.27. No, that's the balance remaining. I apologize. The amount requested is $977.70.
So moved.
Second. Any questions?
Nope.
I'll just say that the amount requested is to be used for general code updates. Has been requested. Then the policy, then this goes to the finance committee and their meeting next week.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Marine, yes. So yes, the meeting 6.
Doing my papers. Doing all of us, we're killing a lot of trees.
5.0 opera projects. Was there any dates on that? I want to say that Ross and I are going to be sitting down with Katie shortly to go over what we have as far as what the allocations are. Katie and I have been talking with individuals to find out what funds they have and in what years they're going to allocate them from, so that we can update the spreadsheet so we know what is what, and then we can talk about if we need to reallocate funding or not.
Okay.
The auditor's suggestion will have all that encumbered by the end of December.
December, yeah, we have to. We've been talking about that anyway, yeah.
5.1, town administrator updates and reports.
He's passing out papers.
Well, some people say you need to have a hard copy. Actually, I got this here too, shortly, just in case. So the first item is an update on the pest control that we talked about already. We've approved that, the board approved sending that invoice as originally planned. The trash contract is still getting ready to be sent out, and I got into the prevailing wage system, and they sent me the prevailing wages that they have to send out to Shaw's as part of that. Good. I've had a couple conversations on 94 Fitchburg Road. This is a small development in there that when they started digging, they found that there was a plugged drainage pipe from the town, which they didn't know existed, so therefore it wasn't in their wetlands calculations. Through work that Eric had done, and then town council meeting with their attorney, they've agreed that the highway department would provide the pipe since we had some around. The developer would bury the pipe in the appropriate place, and it would drain across his property out back towards wetlands. The next step on that is that the developer's engineer will do a notice of intent, NOI, but since it's really a town drainage issue, highway department and land use will help champion that through conservation to get that NOI approved. Then we have to secure an easement from the owner to allow us to run the pipe through his property and to maintain it. So their owner seems to be amenable to doing that. We talked about, and I guess Eric had negotiated that we would pay them $4,000 to acquire this easement and to sort of replenish what they spent on extra money to deal with a town problem. So this is drainage the town didn't know existed, the developer didn't know existed. We found it when apparently the road filled up with water and they uncovered this drainage ditch that went right into private property. So this looks like an amenable solution. I talked to Adam today. He is going to talk to the developer's attorney and put in writing what we've all agreed to. The developer's attorney will write the easement. And when he gets that easement, Adam will help write the warrant language to appropriately put that in the town meeting for a vote to accept the easement and potentially to pay the $4,000 for their costs. So I think we can take that out of ARPA funds. So it won't be directly out of general fund.
So how do we come up with the 4,000?
Is that covered? We need to check that first.
Yes.
It's covered.
No, we need to check that. But that was sort of the segue from your previous comment about checking ARPA balances.
Right.
So the 4,000 negotiable.
It sounds like
the project's already 90% done, I do believe.
It sounds like it has been negotiated, but it could be a lot more since we're basically dumping street drainage onto private property. And the developers put in a lot of money in the engineering of it and the installation of the pipe. So all that we're
street drains that are all over the roads everywhere end up, they just drain into properties, so. And I'm good with it. If that's our solution to make it easy, then we just move on.
Yeah, Adam feels that both parties are partially responsible for this product.
Well, that's what I'm saying, right?
We sort of work together in getting it done. It could have been a lot worse, and it sounds like both parties worked.
Mutual
agreement, done,
mutual compromise. So I'm good with
it. I'm good with it. Yeah. I'm good.
But that's going to be a potential warrant article, just to approve that easement and the funding. If the funding turns out to be ARPA, that doesn't need to be in the warrant article specifically, but
that's not going to hold up his project by any means, is it?
I don't think so. I mean, they're anxious to get it done, so.
Well, that's what I mean. So what do we need to do? I mean, they can do all the piping, they can do everything.
I think they've done the piping all the way up to the flood zone.
Okay. And then conservation will get in.
And so once they get the NOI, then they get the permission to run further into the wetlands with it.
Well, let's do whatever we can to make it happen, because this is no time to find there's a problem when the project's almost done.
Yeah. Understood, and that's what we're working on.
All right, perfect.
My last update is regarding the fire union contract, and we'll discuss that when we go into executive session. The budget, depending on what happens with the override election, we'll be looking at re-looking at the FY25 budget. And that's what we mentioned with the Finance Committee, talking to them. I want to look at revenues. I've had conversations with Katie about what revenues we can accurately anticipate, as well as working with Chaz on what expenses we need to cut. But I expect that'll be keeping us busy. I'll probably have an update on this.
It's not like we haven't been working on it 24/7 already.
Thank you for all your hard work, guys.
I do want to just throw in the where we are with the override process. The clerk has individuals have taken out papers for a recount. They have until Friday at 5 o'clock, I believe, to return them with all of the criteria involved in, signatures and all of that. We have to wait until that process happens or doesn't happen, depending upon how you look at it. I know that the clerk has met with the registrars today. They've come up with their plan of action. So if those papers are returned, those signatures have to be certified, then they have to set a date for the recount. So the clerk is on that. But I do want to say that I have the utmost respect for the clerk's office. Kathy has done a fabulous job with this whole process, being able to put it all together, get the timing down, plus working with us, getting the special town meeting scheduled in, and there's a lot of moving parts, and it's really nice to see that all departments have been very flexible in what we need to do. So it's truly a team effort, and I appreciate it. I just wanted to take your time for us to thank them for that.
I can tell you she's been very, very diligent in being sure that the process is handled exactly the way it's supposed to. Every ballot is being tabulated. Every ballot is expected. All of them have been locked up and secure, so nothing's happened to them on the night of the election until
Do the recount.
perfect. So, 5.2 reports from board liaisons. I have been diligent with mine. I have nothing really to report. Joe, what about you?
No, I don't really have anything to report from the last time. Everybody just got the concerns about the override, the budgets, and we just gotta keep moving on till we figure out where we stand with the budgets. So that's all we can do.
Yep. Sir? Announcements and communications. I do have a couple. Those because I put those in the wrong spot, so we're going to get this. I have been working very closely with Representative Scarsdale's office on a couple of committees and collaborations. She has been a good resource for us in helping us move forward with finding funding. If we needed assistance with the Department of Transportation, she's pushed some. Shouldn't say push, but she's communicated with certain areas of the state, and they were acting much more quickly than normal. But as part of the small business and community development that I've been working with, along with the Townsend Business Administration, we're also working with Pepperell and Ashby and Groton. She is having a date on this. For the first Middlesex district, that's Ashby, Lunenburg, Townsend, Pepperell, Dunstable, and Groton. She's pleased to announce that the Joint Committee will bring its listening tour to her district and talk in regards to how our area is going to be bringing new business into the area, what we need to do, or what suggestions it is from the Joint Committee, from the state legislatures that are coming in. This is going to be on June 24th from 2 to 4. This is going to be held at the Groton Hill Music Center. And she's inviting business leaders and town officials from the region to discuss their experiences and idea on how the state legislature can assist a rural community to realize its economic potential. I have been talking with Representative Scarsdale about what our ideas are with our goals for 25. And this fits in with exactly what they want to hear from the town. So want to go, it's open up to any of us that want to go. I just think it's a great opportunity that she has a great talent for bringing the right people together to talk about things.
She does.
There's a letter from the Conservation Commission that Conservation Commission sent to the Board of Selectmen. They asked me to read this. They're writing to express their sincere gratitude to the Select Board for your unwavering support and submission of Article 5 to see if the town will vote to appropriate from free cash or other available funds in the Treasury the sum of $5,000 for the purpose of Conservation Commission education, outreach, and training. And they're understanding that it's important for all boards to work together. And I appreciate that they took the time out of their busy schedule to write us a letter. So I appreciate it from the Conservation Commission. This is for Teresa, you and I, and the work that we've been doing with them. So I appreciate that. There is a Central Massachusetts Brownsfield Roundtable to be held on Tuesday, June 25th from 8:30 a.m. to 12 o'clock at the Fitchburg Legislative Building, and that's in Fitchburg, Mass. And they're asking to learn about Brownsfield funding, technical resources, and opportunities for teaming and networking in regards to any Brownsfield. This is in conjunction with Mass DEP, Mass Development, MRPC, City of Fitchburg.
I've seen that.
Yeah, that'll be very important. Oops, that's executive session. I don't want to read that. Whoops. There's also, I just wanted to talk about the fiscal year budget conference committee beginning deliberations. This came out yesterday. I got an email from the state. There are several very, very important legislations that are coming in. The unrestricted general government aid, the UGA account, has been everybody's been talking about it. But the Senate appropriated $1.3 billion for the unrestricted general government aid account, and that's something that's going to assist the cities and towns in regards to a lot of vital infrastructure, especially with our roads. And that's something that I've been, as I said to in a former meeting that we had, anytime I hear infrastructure and roads, I'm all over. This has an opportunity for us to get some more money in regards to getting roads paved and stuff in town. So I have put together a letter that I had sent to Representative Scarsdale and several of these to say, you know, we need the money for the roads and whatever Townsend needs to be able to get these funds. There's also rural school aid. There is several disaster relief and resiliency fund, which is something that, for instance, Fitchburg, I don't know if you heard, but Fitchburg had applied for funds for the flooding that they had, and they were turned down by the federal government. But this is a disaster relief and resiliency fund for the state that would have been able to help them out much more readily than the federal government. Chapter 70 is another thing, the funding for schools. There's a task force, and they're going to fund that to look into the smaller towns, because it seems like we never get a fair share of whatever we're supposed to do. So these are all things that I have talked with Representative Scarsdale and Senator Cronin in regards to, so that we definitely have a voice in what's going on. Anything from you, Joe?
No, I'm good.
Is there? Do you have any? I'm not in SharePoint though. Is this something I can pull up real quick?
Is in regards to,
Decisions from the Conservation Commission. I think Sabrina wants to see how quickly I do this.
When? Because I'm almost there.
Okay, so we have this is a Conservation Commission. This is a please find the order of conditions issued to the towns by the Townsend Conservation Commission. This is in regards to 2 Capricorn Lane in Townsend. This is for an addition and a deck installation. But I'm busy.
so just
This
their
is another
decision.
Yeah, this is another decision for 49 Edwards Road. And this is for a project that involves the installation of a 1,500 and a 1,000 gallon septic tank, leaching field, which has been approved.
A little lost on that. I don't think we've ever really dealt with those things. Are they doing that something different now to just keep us updated? Or? Okay, yeah. Right. That's good.
Please find the attached order of conditions, determination of applicability for the above properties, which is on Saunders Road, Capricorn Lane, 49 Edwards Road, like I just mentioned, and 198 Main Street. So those are the decisions that they made. So they're basically apprising the board of
There's a lot going on. Very good.
They're doing a good job with
Getting them in and getting them finished up and moved on.
there is a which we haven't been notified of some of these, so it's nice to be able to see that they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
They must have had a busy meeting that last week, let me tell you. This last one is, I have to make it bigger, I can't see it. This is for 5 Saunders Road. This is for order of conditions. they did. Erosion and sedimentation control barriers and that kind of stuff, which has been approved. So, is that all, Sabrina?
All right, very good. Glad for the update.
Next meeting is going to be July 2nd, 2024 at 6 p.m.
As I mentioned, I'm going to be on vacation that week.
Correct. You want me to do your report?
Yeah. Depending on what you and I come up with for agenda next week, I may arrive with somebody to get here or not. So.
Okay. 5.5 review and sign. I'll entertain a motion to review and sign payroll and bills payable warrants out of session.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Shank, yes.
Iranian, yes. And I move that, or I'll entertain a motion to enter into executive session pursuant to General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the public body, and the chair so declares, and he does. And this is in regards to the fire union negotiations and to adjourn in executive session.
So moved.
I'll second that. Discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Shank, yes.
Section Rainey, yes.
Thank you, everybody.